Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are getting right into the very DNA of school operations. We're going to look at a high-level diagnostic map that's designed to assess a school's institutional health. Specifically, we are focusing on LAIT Africa's framework of 10 core domains. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by the sheer complexity of running a school, where a broken boiler and a massive curriculum shift are demanding your attention at the exact same time, well, this breakdown is exactly what you need.
So, what actually makes a school truly healthy? It's a huge question, right? As leaders, it is literally so easy to just get stuck in the weeds. We spend so much of our time firefighting. We're dealing with immediate crises, a flood of parent emails, or sudden staff issues. But if we want to build a lasting, successful institution, we really have to pivot our mindset away from just treating those daily symptoms. We need to look at holistic institutional well-being. Think of it like a doctor diagnosing a patient. We need to step back and look at the entire anatomy of the school.
Okay, let's map out our route today. First, mapping institutional health. Next, direction and leadership. Then, operations, risk, and infrastructure, followed by growth and continuous improvement, and finally, domains versus systems. Let's get into it. Section 1. Mapping institutional health. Before we really get into the specific categories, we've got to establish what we even mean when we look at a school from this high-level diagnostic perspective. Basically, a diagnostic map represents the major areas of institutional health that leaders and boards must intentionally design, monitor, and strengthen. And the ultimate goal of all of this? To consistently deliver on the school's mission. So as we go through this, keep in mind that we're looking at broad institutional areas. These domains are for checking the pulse of the school. We aren't getting into the super detailed granular systems quite yet. We're just identifying the broad areas that demand our attention first. Moving on to Section 2, Direction and Leadership. This is basically the brain of the school. Think of these first three domains as the head or the brain of the whole organization. This is where the vision is set and the big picture strategic thinking happens. Number 1 is strategy and institutional direction. Number 2 is governance and decision rights. And number 3 is leadership structure and talent systems. Together, these three really form the absolute foundation of your school. They provide the mission clarity and the leadership talent that you absolutely need to guide the entire institution forward. Honestly, without these three functioning properly, the rest of the organizational body just has no direction. And this brilliantly illustrates how it all connects. Strategy and institutional direction examines mission clarity, your strategic priorities, and how well that big vision aligns with daily operations. Under governance and decision rights, we're looking at board oversight, committees, reporting lines, authority levels, and making sure decision-making is super clear. Finally, leadership structure and talent systems examines leadership roles, accountability, staff capacity, succession planning, and talent development. The real takeaway here is how perfectly these align your overarching vision directly with the people and the authority needed to actually execute it. All right, Section 3, Operations, Risk, and Infrastructure, the operational heartbeat. So now we're moving from the brain of the school down into its body. This is our biggest cluster, the operational heartbeat where the heavy lifting and the actual daily work happens. We've got financial sustainability, core operational systems, risk compliance and safeguarding, data, technology and information systems, and lastly, facilities and infrastructure. I really want to emphasize that these 5 domains cover the essential, tangible infrastructure of your school. These are the critical areas keeping the lights on and keeping the institution running safely, smoothly, and effectively, day in and day out. Let's zoom in on a couple of these. Domain 4 is financial sustainability. This focuses really heavily on budget discipline, forecasting, revenue stability, cost control, and having solid reserves. Why does this matter? Well, because as any school leader knows, visionary ideas are great, but they don't exactly pay the electric bill. Strict discipline and accurate forecasting are literally the lifeblood of the institution. Without them, even the most amazing educational vision is going to quickly grind to a halt. You have got to ensure that financial health is constantly being monitored. Next, let's look at Domain 6, Risk, Compliance, and Safeguarding. This examines student protection, regulatory compliance, risk management, crisis readiness, and institutional safety. And guys, I cannot state this urgently enough. This domain is a non-negotiable, critical, vital sign. It is entirely about ensuring the absolute protection of your students and maintaining strict crisis readiness. A failure here doesn't just threaten the reputation of the school, it threatens the very existence of the school and the safety of its entire community.
These remaining 3 operational domains form this really incredible interconnected ecosystem. Domain 5, Core Operational Systems, examines the administrative processes and daily routines that keep things moving. Domain 7, Data, Technology, and Information Systems, looks at student information, reporting, dashboards, and your overall tech infrastructure. And Domain 8, Facilities and Infrastructure, covers the physical stuff, your buildings, classrooms, maintenance, and safety procedures. When you step back, you can clearly see how administrative routines, digital tools, and physical learning environments all interconnect to form one massive operational engine.
Section 4. Growth and continuous improvement. Forward momentum.
Okay, if the previous domains were the brain and the heartbeat, these final areas represent the forward momentum of the school. This is where we stop looking inward and start looking outward to the community and forward into the future. Our final 2 domains are number 9, enrollment, marketing and growth systems, and number 10, continuous improvement and performance management. These 2 are incredibly powerful. They're what take a school from just surviving its day-to-day operations to actively evolving, thriving, and refining its core mission over time. This is what keeps you relevant.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the evolution. Under Domain 9, we're examining admissions processes, enrollment management, retention, and responsible growth. Then, right below it in Domain 10, we're looking at KPIs, review cycles, appraisal, feedback, and institutional learning. Do you see how this beautifully connects outward-facing responsible growth with inward-facing review cycles? You grow by bringing families in and keeping them happy, and you improve by constantly rigorously reviewing your own internal performance. It's a perfect loop.
Finally, Section 5, Domains versus Systems, the vital catalyst.
This distinction right here is the vital catalyst for actually fixing problems. It's the grand finale of our explainer. It's what separates what we're diagnosing from how we actually go about fixing it in the real world. On the left, we have domains. These are the broad areas of institutional health we've just spent our time mapping out. On the right, we have systems. These are the repeatable structures, processes, tools, and the actual people doing the work. I really want to strongly emphasize this contrast. The domains are what needs our attention. The systems are how we give them that attention. The source material sums this up perfectly. It states, domains are the areas of institutional health. Systems are the repeatable structures, processes, routines, tools, people, and review mechanisms that make those domains work in practice. This is such a critical distinction to anchor our understanding. Think about it. You might use this diagnostic map and realize your school has a weakness in, let's say, Domain 4, financial sustainability. But you can't just fix a domain. You have to build or fix the specific, repeatable systems, like the daily budget tracking routines or the purchase approval processes that make that domain healthy in practice. Which leads us to our final parting question for you today. You know your domains, but are your systems built to last? Having this diagnostic map from LAIT Africa is an absolutely incredible first step. It gives you the blueprint. But the real work? That's stepping back into your executive roles, into your boardrooms, and auditing the actual machinery of your school. Take these 10 domains, hold them up to your institution, and start asking the hard questions about the systems supporting them. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this structure helps you see your institution with a whole new level of clarity.